All right, let's go on. We're going to continue with the prophecy news for August the 9th of 2011. I welcome you again, and I ask that you please visit my website, www.bibleprophecyman.com, and you'll find a load of information, including my free book, which you can download today. It's the brand new edition, the August 8th, 2011 edition. I try to keep this book up to date, very current, as much as possible. It's a lot of work, but a lot of people are coming to the Lord because of the work, and it is a total blessing for me. And if this is the first time, and if you are Christians already, I'd ask that you please pray for this ministry, especially in Africa, because the ministry is exploding in Africa, and they are taking this book and the knowledge that they're getting from this book, and they're winning souls in Africa. So please, I'm trying to get CDs. If you are a Christian, and you go to prayer for me, because it costs funds to do that, and I never ask for any funds, but please ask the Lord to provide so that I can give and flood Africa with these CDs. It's very, very expensive to do this with book. Each book cost me $13, and just the mailing of the book overseas for 10 books is $45. And I've been doing this for free, and the Lord has provided for me. So just pray for the ministry that I can get the CDs in the hands of these people who are hungry for this. Now, I want to go into, we were talking about in a previous video about the signs of the war, the Psalm 83 war, and I'm going to continue on with some of these other signs that are taking place. Here's another article that came out on August 4th, and we just left off. We're showing you that this article, the gas that could ignite the war, and I left off with that one, saying that they believe that it may start another war over the gas rights. Now here's another one, August 4th. It says, Gaza missiles strike deeper into Israel. And just like I've warned again in my book and in many of my posts, they are continuing to send off these rockets. Now this article tells us the Palestinian terrorists operating out of the Gaza Strip. Now when you know the Bible and what the Bible tells you, is when you go to Psalm 83, you'll see that the people living in the Gaza Strip today are what they used to be, the Phoenicia, or the Palestinians, all right, of modern day, in our modern day terminology, the Phoenicia, the Palestinians, which are also the Hamas. So you know exactly the Gaza Strip, the Hamas, these Phoenicians, modern day Phoenicians, the Palestinians, are Phoenicia, are attacking Israel with these rockets. And what happens? Well, you'll see. It says, late Wednesday night, fired two large Grad missiles into the southern and central Israel. The first missile exploded in the outskirts of the town of Gat, which is at the southern end of Israel's densely populated central region. The second landed within the city limits of the southern part of Ashkelon. The attacks caused no injuries, but a road was damaged in Ashkelon. The Israeli officials said that they view the attacks as an escalation of violence. Remember the birth pangs? Mark 13:8, they're in this area like crazy, and they're getting worse. An escalation of violence, as Grad missiles are far more accurate than the Palestinian locally produced Qassam rockets, can travel much further and carry a larger payload. In response, Israeli forces attacked several terrorist installations in Gaza on Thursday morning, reporting direct hits on their targets. And despite the mounting violence, Israel continues to go out of its way to aid the local Palestinian population by improving economic conditions. Late last month, the Israeli army stressed its ongoing efforts to help the Palestinian farmers export their produce to the European markets. So at a time when they're calling for peace and safety, there's conflict. And Paul wrote to us in a warning in 1 Thessalonians 5:3, told us, when they are calling peace and safety, sudden destruction will come as a woman travail with child. And that's the birth pangs, essentially, that Jesus warned about it in Mark 13:8. Now here's another one. And this article came out on the 8th of August. Lieberman warns the Palestinian, it says PA, ready for bloodshed in September. Now, I've been warning there's a possibility that during the Feast of the Trumpets, a new war may break out in Israel. And here we go again with more rumors about this war that possibly may take place in September. And again, September is the Feast of the Trumpets, which we know at some point in the future or this September. We don't know for sure, but this is the feast that the Lord would be taking the believers home. And so if it is this September, you better be ready for it to go. And if it isn't, then we just, as the Lord said, occupy until I come. That means don't sell your house and your possessions. Keep living your life for the Lord. You'll have more time to witness. But if this is the appointed time, you better be ready. But this is what Lieberman said. Lieberman said that the PA is making preparations to carry out wholesale bloodshed in September. At that time, the PA plans to ask the United Nations to officially recognize it as an independent country and to grant it membership status within the international body. The foreign minister said to PA officials, despite claims of non-violent action, are instead preparing for a flood checkpoints with tens of thousands of PA Arabs who might then force their way past the IDF, that's the Israeli Defense Force soldiers, and into Israel's major cities. The Palestinian Authority is getting ready for bloodshed on a scale we haven't seen, he warned. The more they speak about non-violent action, the more they are preparing for bloodshed. Is it going to happen? Let me tell you this. According to the word of the Lord, count on it. It is going to take place. It's just a matter of when it's going to take place. Now here's another one. I'll put this up so that you can see it. You can go to Google, you can do your own search there, get the link and read the entire report. It says, IAF, the Israeli Air Force generals, loudly demanding strike on Iran. The commanders of the Israeli Defense Force, especially those in the Air Force, are making increasingly loud demands to strike Iran's nuclear program, a German news source said on Wednesday. And according to the Der Spiegel, the question on how Israel will eventually deal with the threat of the nuclear Iran depends in part on the battle of prestige between the military and the Mossad, the latter being in charge of the assassinations and favoring them as a result. The Mossad is behind the killings of 3 Iranian scientists in the last 18 months, the paper claimed. Now, if there, again, we've been hearing these rumors that the Iranians will be struck by Israel sometime during September. And this is why I've been telling people, please, there are so many different things that are supposed to happen during September. It's probably one of the most ominous months I've seen since I've been in the ministry. And we really need to pay attention, since the Lord told us that war was coming. We know who they're going to be involved in this war. And they're the same people that are coming against Israel today and arming themselves for this war. Now, to change the subject a little bit, why Israel is concerned about the war over there, the United States, who is declining in power and isn't mentioned anywhere in the Bible as a major power in the last days, although some try to make it that way. There isn't any place in the Bible that shows you, specifically in the book of Daniel, where the United States is a last days world empire that the Antichrist will rise from. It has to do with the old Roman Empire, of which the United States was never even around. Now, there is going to be a decline of the United States to give way for this Roman Empire. And we've already seen from my first video today that they have 10 kings now in the Western European Union of the old Roman Empire. So we see the establishment of this old Roman Empire that the Lord warned about. So when the United States falls apart and you see the signs around all over the place, you saw the stock market drop over 600 points that disrupted the economy again of the United States, and now they're talking about a possible depression, a double dip recession. But I've been showing you these different signs in my book and told you you'll see this take place, and it's already happened. I put this in my new book because it was updated. Take a look at this. After my warning that the food stamp lines would grow, I believe when I started to make the warning, there was 37 million people in the United States using food stamps. Now, the new report was that the food stamps rises to a record 45.8 million people in the United States. This is the nation who is having problems finding or making their dreams come true, because you have millions and millions of Americans out of work, and more are being added to that number on a monthly basis, and it's not good. And we're seeing entities of the federal government that are falling apart and don't have any money. And let me give you an example of that. I'm pretty sure that if you've been watching the news, you saw that the United States Postal Service warns that it could default. The United States government just went through the process of diverting a default, and all they did was make the debt much more larger. They're going to print up more money. It's going to bring down the value of the dollar, and it's going to make your life miserable. And at the end of the day, it's not going to pay off any debt, and you will see that the United States of America will decline in power. And one of the main reasons why this is going to take place is, number one, they've cursed Israel. They've tried to divide the land, and God told us He was going to destroy anyone who did this. Read Joel chapter 3 verse 2, Zechariah chapter 12 verse 3, and Genesis 12:3 as well. The curse and what God is going to be doing to those nations. And so the United States is doing that. They've been under the curse. They're falling apart. The economy's it's stagnant. The GDP is bad. And people can't find jobs. Now, at the same time that this is happening with the United States, Jesus tells us in the book of Revelation that the gold and the silver, along with these many other items that are listed in Revelation chapter 18, verse 12, the people would be weeping over these items that were lost. And two of those items was gold and silver. And I've been warning you, please pay attention, because you're going to see these precious metals skyrocket. Now, I'm not very good in finances, but I am very good in reading and understanding what Jesus has relayed to us in His Word. And if you know what He says and you look at the economy, you'll know what to do. And knowing that there's going to be weeping over the gold and the silver, I told you that the prices were going to skyrocket. And now I have a list of events that have taken place just in the last week. And I'm going to ask you to scroll down to this next video, and we'll cover those. And believe me, when I'm done, I'm pretty sure that you will start paying attention to the prices of gold and silver.